0630 hours local time, a Ukrainian attack helicopter dropped down to 30 feet above the tree line, deliberately violating the first rule of modern combat survival. It was flying completely blind into a confirmed Russian air defense kill box in the eastern Donetsk sector. To the naked eye, and to the radar operators scanning the horizon, this looked like a suicide mission. The heavily armored gunship handles like a school bus in a tight corner, and right now it was serving itself up on a silver platter to a Russian motorized rifle brigade equipped with multiple man-portable air defense systems. But what the Russian air defense operators did not know was that the massive gunship tearing toward their position was not the hunter, and it was not the prey. It was a multi-million-dollar piece of bait designed to orchestrate a kill with a piece of plastic that cost less than a used bicycle. Inside the cockpit, the Ukrainian pilot watched his radar warning receiver stay completely silent, which was exactly the problem. The enemy missile system does not emit a radar signature until the projectile is already off the rail and flying at Mach 1.9. The pilot had exactly zero electronic indication of where the lethal threat was hiding. His only option was to fly deep enough into the engagement envelope to force the enemy to pull the trigger. Before we continue, make sure to hit like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. 2 miles to the east, crouching in a tree line still slick with morning dew, a Russian air defense operator hoisted a 37-pound launch tube onto his right shoulder. The weapon was a heat-seeking missile designed specifically to turn low-flying aircraft into burning aluminum showers. As the heavy thud of the twin turboshaft engines vibrated through the ground, the operator thumbed the thermal battery activation switch. Liquid nitrogen flooded the seeker head, rapidly cooling the infrared sensor to minus 200 degrees Celsius in less than 3 seconds. The cooling process sharpens the missile vision, allowing it to easily distinguish the blazing hot exhaust of a helicopter engine from the cold background of the morning sky. The operator swung the heavy tube tracking the incoming gunship, waiting for the high-pitched tone in his headset that would confirm a solid thermal lock. But something about the geometry of the engagement felt fundamentally wrong. The Ukrainian helicopter was flying straight and level over an empty expanse of ruined farmland where there were absolutely no high-value targets to justify the massive risk. Standard Russian doctrine dictates that if an enemy asset places itself in a vulnerable position, you destroy it without hesitation. The operator ignored the tactical anomaly, trusting his equipment over his instincts. The high-pitched tone screamed in his ear. He had a perfect lock on the engine exhaust. He squeezed the trigger. The ejection motor kicked the missile out of the tube with a sharp crack, and a fraction of a second later, the main solid-fuel rocket ignited, leaving a brilliant white smoke plume pointing straight back to the operator position in the trees. The missile accelerated to twice the speed of sound, covering the distance to the helicopter at over 1,300 feet per second. Inside the cockpit, the pilot had a fraction of a heartbeat to react to the ultraviolet flash of the rocket motor igniting in the distance. He did not attempt to outrun the missile, because outrunning a supersonic projectile in a heavy gunship is a mathematical impossibility. Instead, he slammed the cyclic stick hard to the left and squeezed the weapons release trigger, instantly emptying both rocket pods hanging from the stub wings. But he was not aiming at the ground, and he was not aiming at the Russian troops. He pitched the nose up and fired a massive salvo of unguided 80mm rockets into the empty air directly between his aircraft and the incoming missile. Dozens of rocket motors burned simultaneously, creating a massive, chaotic wall of intense thermal signatures. To the incoming infrared seeker head, the sky suddenly transformed from a clean, cold background with one distinct heat source into a blinding, overlapping nightmare of white-hot fire. The pilot was intentionally flooding the battlefield with fake engine signatures, turning his offensive weapons into a desperate defensive smokescreen. To compound the thermal chaos, the pilot simultaneously dumped dozens of magnesium decoy flares from the tail dispensers, banking sharply to mask his real engine exhaust behind the armored fuselage. The missile tracking processor, an older piece of technology built during the Cold War era, was completely overwhelmed. Its logic circuits were designed to track the single hottest object in its field of view. But now it was staring into a blazing furnace of rocket exhaust, burning magnesium, and atmospheric distortion. The seeker head lost its lock on the helicopter, aggressively pitched downward to chase the brightest cluster of burning rocket propellant, and detonated harmlessly in an empty dirt field 300 yards short of the aircraft. The Russian operator dropped the empty launch tube, cursing his bad luck, assuming the Ukrainian pilot had simply managed a miraculous 1 in a million evasion. But what the operator failed to realize was that missing the target was actually the least of his problems. By firing the missile, he had just triggered the exact sequence of events the Ukrainian pilot had sacrificed his own safety to set in motion. The massive, blazing thermal plume from the rocket motor had brightly illuminated the Russian team's exact coordinates on the screens of a Ukrainian reconnaissance drone orbiting miles above the battlefield, completely out of sight and out of mind. The trap had successfully snapped shut. The moment the thermal bloom of the missile launch registered on the high-altitude observation drone, the coordinates were instantly plotted and transmitted through an encrypted satellite network directly to a frontline tactical operations center. In traditional military doctrine, calling in an artillery strike or a secondary air mission on a newly discovered target requires a tedious chain of command. A spotter radios a platoon leader, who calls a battalion commander, who requests fire support from an artillery battery, which then takes several minutes to calculate trajectories and load shells. By the time the high explosive finally arrives on target, a smart air defense crew has already packed their gear and vanished into the local geography. But the Ukrainian forces operating in this sector had completely abandoned that slow, bureaucratic hierarchy in favor of a decentralized, flat command structure that prioritized lethal speed over formal permission. The coordinates of the Russian missile team were not sent to an artillery battery or a fighter squadron. Instead, they were beamed directly to a customized tablet held by a 19-year-old soldier sitting in a muddy trench less than 3 miles away from the tree line. This operator did not need to ask a commanding officer for clearance to engage, and he did not need to wait for a heavily armored vehicle to move into position. He was already holding his weapon, and his weapon was already armed. The operator slammed a high-capacity lithium polymer battery into a carbon fiber frame that cost less than $400 to assemble from commercial parts. Strapped beneath the 4 plastic propellers with heavy-duty zip ties was a high-explosive anti-tank warhead originally designed to be fired from a Soviet-era rocket-propelled grenade launcher. This was the ultimate asymmetry of modern combat. A $2 million air defense system had just been defeated by a helicopter firing unguided rockets, and now a teenager in a trench was launching a flying pipe bomb to finish the job. He pulled his bulky video goggles over his eyes, gripped the dual analog sticks of his remote controller, and pushed the throttle forward. The first-person view drone screamed out of the trench, accelerating from 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 3 seconds. It banked sharply toward the eastern tree line, flying less than 10 feet above the muddy ground. Back at the launch site, the Russian missile operator was completely oblivious to the fact that his life expectancy had just been reduced to exactly 2 minutes. He was currently fighting a losing battle against his own standard operating procedures. After firing a shoulder-launched surface-to-air missile, military doctrine mandates that the operator must detach the expended tube from the reusable gripstock mechanism, pack the equipment, and immediately relocate to avoid retaliatory artillery fire. But detaching a freezing cold thermal battery and securing a heavy gripstock while wearing thick tactical gloves is not a fast process. The Russian operator and his spotter were burdened by over 50 pounds of gear each, struggling to move quickly through the dense, swampy underbrush of the Donetsk tree line. According to the outdated combat manuals they were trained on, they had a safety window of roughly 10 to 15 minutes before Ukrainian artillery batteries could process their coordinates and start dropping high-explosive shells on their position. What they fundamentally failed to understand was that the timeline of battlefield retaliation had been brutally compressed. The Ukrainian counterattack was not traveling in a high-arcing parabolic trajectory from a massive artillery barrel miles away. It was currently flying straight at their faces, hugging the terrain at eye level, and completely bypassing every traditional early warning system the Russian military possessed. The hunters were still casually packing their bags, entirely unaware that they had already become the hunted. The drone operator navigated the treacherous battlefield geometry using an analog video feed that flickered with heavy static. In an era where civilians watch movies in ultra-high definition, flying a lethal weapon using a blurry, standard-definition television signal seems incredibly backward. But in a highly contested electronic warfare environment, analog video is a massive tactical advantage. Digital video signals require complex encoding and decoding, which introduces latency. If a digital signal is jammed or drops packets, the screen completely freezes. When you are flying a drone through a dense forest at 70 miles per hour, a 1-second screen freeze means you hit a tree and your weapon shatters into useless plastic shards. An analog signal does not freeze. When it hits heavy electronic jamming, the picture simply degrades into a storm of white snow and static, but the video keeps flowing with absolute zero latency. The operator was threading the needle between bare oak branches and burnt vehicle chassis based on muscle memory and raw intuition, treating the drone like an extension of his own nervous system. The 4 small electric motors generated almost zero heat, rendering the drone completely invisible to Russian thermal optics. And the physical profile was so small that enemy radar systems simply dismissed it as a large bird. It was a ghost machine carrying a shaped charge directly into the blind spot of a multi-billion-dollar military machine. The distance between the muddy launch trench and the Russian air defense position was precisely 2.8 miles. The drone devoured that gap in less than 120 seconds. As the operator approached the designated coordinates, he slowed the plastic quadcopter down, easing the throttle to lower the acoustic signature of the spinning propeller blades. The high-pitched whine of the electric motors was easily swallowed by the ambient noise of the wind howling through the bare branches and the distant rhythmic thud of artillery shells impacting miles to the south. Through his static-filled goggles, the operator scanned the dense brush. Then the payoff materialized on his screen. 2 figures in heavily camouflaged winter gear were trudging through the mud, backpacks slung over their shoulders, carrying the reusable missile gripstock. They were looking up at the sky, scanning the clouds for returning helicopters or high-altitude bomber aircraft. They were looking in the completely wrong direction. The operator did not hesitate. He slammed the right analog stick forward, pitching the drone into a steep, aggressive dive directly toward the backs of the retreating soldiers. The drone accelerated rapidly, transforming from a slow-moving observation platform into a precision-guided kinetic projectile. The trap that the helicopter pilot had risked his life to set was now less than 50 feet away from its violently explosive conclusion. The Russian operators had exactly 2 seconds of auditory warning before the plastic quadcopter crossed the final threshold. At 50 feet, the high-pitched whine of the electric motors finally overpowered the sound of their own heavy boots, sucking in and out of the freezing mud. The spotter whipped his head around, his eyes widening as he registered the tiny, rapidly expanding silhouette of a $400 toy carrying a military-grade anti-tank warhead. Human reaction time under extreme stress is roughly a quarter of a second, which is plenty of time to flinch, but entirely insufficient to unshoulder a heavy backpack, raise an assault rifle, acquire a target moving at 70 miles per hour, and squeeze off an accurate burst of suppressive fire. The drone pilot did not aim for the men. He aimed for the gap right between them, maximizing the lethal radius of the shaped charge and ensuring the total destruction of the reusable gripstock mechanism strapped to the operator back. The quadcopter slammed into the frozen ground and detonated instantly. A blinding flash of overpressure and shrapnel ripped through the dense underbrush, instantly neutralizing both soldiers and turning their multi-million-dollar portable air defense equipment into a twisted pile of smoking, utterly useless scrap metal. Miles away, safely navigating back to a rearming point, the Ukrainian helicopter pilot monitored the encrypted radio chatter confirming the successful drone strike. His seemingly suicidal dive into a known kill box had functioned flawlessly. By intentionally flying a massive, slow-moving target directly into the engagement envelope of an advanced heat-seeking missile, he had broken the fundamental rules of aviation survival to exploit the rigid, predictable doctrine of his enemies. The Russian team had fired because their manuals told them to fire at any viable target, completely failing to recognize the tactical absurdity of a heavily armored gunship, exposing itself with zero offensive support. The massive rocket salvo the pilot had unleashed into the empty air was never intended to strike the ground forces. It was a perfectly timed, highly calculated thermal wall designed to blind an older generation of infrared seekers, keeping the helicopter alive just long enough for the missile launch plume to paint a giant, glowing target on the backs of the Russian operators. It was a sophisticated, high-stakes game of bait and switch, using a multi-million-dollar aircraft to flush the prey out of the bushes so a teenager with a plastic toy could deliver the lethal blow. The entire engagement, from the initial radar warning silence to the final explosive detonation in the mud, had lasted less than 4 minutes. But the true brilliance of this operation was not the destruction of a single 2-man team or the loss of one missile launcher. The final payoff, the actual objective behind risking a massive gunship, was the devastating psychological virus this tactic injected directly into the entire Russian air defense network. Word of the engagement spread rapidly across encrypted radio channels and frontline trenches. Every surviving missile operator in the eastern sector suddenly realized that pulling the trigger was no longer a guaranteed kill. It was a guaranteed death sentence. If they fired at a Ukrainian helicopter, they would instantly reveal their exact coordinates to a swarm of invisible, high-speed drones loitering just out of sight. The physical and procedural burden of disassembling their heavy equipment meant they could never run fast enough to escape the inevitable 2-minute retaliation. This crushing realization induced a paralyzing hesitation across the battlefield. Missile crews began second-guessing their own targeting scopes, terrified that every low-flying aircraft was just another piece of bait waiting to trigger a hunter-killer loop. By combining physical destruction with absolute psychological disruption, the Ukrainian forces effectively neutralized the enemy air defense grid without dropping a single bomb on a radar station, proving that in modern warfare, the most lethal weapon is not the explosive, but the terrifying speed of the kill chain.